The sole proprietorship is the oldest and most widespread form of business organization. It is simply a business run by one person. In Nigeria's markets, streets, and neighborhoods, sole proprietorships are everywhere. The woman selling Ankara fabric in Balegan Market, the mechanic repairing vehicles in Nui, the provisions shop owner on your street, the barber in the next compound. The sole trader provides all the capital, the starting money, from personal savings, family loans, or informal savings groups, /Isusu. She makes every business decision independently, receives every naira of profit, and personally absorbs every naira of loss. This simplicity is both the greatest strength and the most dangerous weakness of the sole proprietorship. The sole proprietorship's advantages are concentrated in speed, simplicity, and reward. Setting up requires minimal paperwork, decisions are made instantly, and every naira of profit belongs exclusively to the owner. These advantages explain why sole proprietorships dominate Nigeria's informal economy, where millions of individuals earn their living through independent activity. The disadvantages, however, are equally significant and must be understood. Unlimited liability is the most dangerous. A sole trader's personal assets, the house she lives in, the savings account she has saved for years, the car she drives, are all legally available to creditors if the business cannot pay its debts from its own assets. This exposure of personal assets to business risk is the defining characteristic that distinguishes a sole trader from a limited liability company. Limited capital is equally constraining. A sole trader can only access as much money as she can save, borrow personally, or receive from family, restricting the scale of the business to what one person's resources can fund. A partnership forms when 2 to 20 people agree to pool their resources, capital, skills, and effort to run a business together. The upper limit of 20 partners is set by Nigerian law for ordinary partnerships. Professional partnerships, law firms, accounting firms may have higher limits under specific regulations. The partnership deed is the founding document of any partnership. It is the written agreement that specifies the rights, responsibilities, contributions, and entitlements of each partner. A partnership without a written deed is legal but extremely risky. If partners later disagree on how profits should be divided or who should manage which aspect of the business, the absence of a written agreement makes resolution far more difficult and costly. Every partnership should have a deed drafted by a qualified lawyer before business begins. Partnerships can include different types of partners with different roles and degrees of liability. General partners, the most common type, actively manage the business and bear unlimited personal liability for all partnership debts, regardless of which partner incurred them. This joint and several liability is a critical risk. If Dr. Emeka recklessly spends the clinic's money and the clinic cannot pay its debts, Dr. Funk's personal assets are equally exposed, even if she had nothing to do with the spending. Sleeping or dormant partners contribute capital and share profits but take no active management role. They are essentially silent investors. Despite their passive role, they still bear unlimited liability in an ordinary partnership. A limited partner, under the more formal Limited Partnerships Act, can limit their liability to their capital contribution, making this structure more attractive for investors who want to participate in a business without exposing all their personal assets. The partnership's primary advantage over the sole proprietorship is the combination of more capital and more diverse skills. A business requiring both technical and commercial expertise, or a medical practice requiring two different specializations, can operate at a quality level impossible for either partner alone. The sharing of both management burden and financial risk also makes the day-to-day operation less pressure than the sole trader's total personal responsibility. However, the partnership's greatest practical danger, one that destroys a significant proportion of Nigerian partnerships, is conflict between partners. When partners who are friends or family start a business together, the financial pressures and daily disagreements of running a business can rapidly damage the personal relationship. A clearly written partnership deed that anticipates potential conflicts and establishes resolution mechanisms is not pessimistic, it is essential wisdom. The comparison table reveals the fundamental trade-offs between these two forms of business organization. The sole proprietorship maximizes the owner's control, profit, and privacy, but at the cost of limited capital, unlimited personal liability, and constrained capacity. The partnership expands capital and skills but requires sharing profit and decision-making authority and introduces the risk of partner conflict. The choice between them depends on the specific business. A small neighborhood shop may be perfectly suited to sole proprietorship, a law firm or medical clinic requiring multiple professional specializations and substantial capital may need a partnership structure from the beginning. In Nigeria, the choice is also influenced by the sector. Professional services, law, accounting, medicine overwhelmingly use partnerships, retail and artisan trades overwhelmingly use sole proprietorships. For your exam, sole proprietorship is a business owned by one person. The owner has unlimited liability. Partnership is a business owned by 2 to 20 persons, governed by a partnership deed. 3 advantages of sole proprietorship: easy to set up, quick decisions, all profit kept by owner. 3 disadvantages: unlimited liability, limited capital, no continuity. 3 advantages of partnership: more capital, shared skills, shared risk. 3 disadvantages: unlimited liability for general partners, risk of disagreement, shared profit. The most frequently examined concept is unlimited liability. Always explain it. The owner's personal assets, house, car, savings, can be seized to pay business debts. This explanation earns full marks. Just writing unlimited liability without explanation earns partial marks only. Excellent. You now understand the 2 simplest forms of business organization, the independence and simplicity of the sole proprietorship versus the expanded resources and shared burden of the partnership. In our next lesson, we explore production, the fundamental economic activity of creating goods and services, and the different types of production that together form the Nigerian economy. See you in class.